So imagine it is 3 a.m. in the morning and you wake up, and one of the first things you start to think of is obviously really bad intrusive thoughts. Um, Paranoia. This is what I want to talk about in this video because this is something that I've been dealing with for a very long time, and I kind of want to go into more depth with it because it is something that I've never really even talked about because personally, I think I sound crazy whenever I talk about some of this stuff. It comes from a bit of a deeper spot in a way of, I don't know. I feel like the general population or like general people, when they hear of paranoia or somebody being over paranoid about something like so bizarre, they often think, oh, that person is crazy or that person is insane. And that has always been something that I've like not ever wanted to be labeled as. And I think a lot of people would feel that way if someone called them like genuinely crazy or genuinely insane. Like it just doesn't feel good. And so I kind of want to just, cuz I'm sitting here, it is currently 9:30 p.m. I came home from my girlfriend's today. A lot of you guys, if you guys are watching, a lot of you guys know. Some of you guys know. I spend about 3 days a week with my girlfriend, and then I come home for like 4 days. And I always find like the day that I come home, not that it even has anything to do with coming home. It's more of just maybe it's like a separation anxiety type of thing. Maybe I don't really know necessarily, but it's almost like when I come home on Thursdays, I really find that like I said in the last video, recently I've been really dealing with like just the sporadic changing of what I want to do, or like changing of how I'm feeling in that moment. Like 1 minute I'll be wanting to do something, or 1 minute I will want to maybe eat something, or like the next minute I want to do something else. And then it's just constantly flip-flopping back and forth, and it just more so frustrates me because I know that that's not how I always am. Like I've always been the type of person that, like if I want to sit down and play video games, I can sit down for a while and play video games, and it really helps take my mind off things. Or if and it's not even like a focus thing, it's more of because the video game is so all over the place, and it might be an in-depth video game or whatever. I just like doing it, and it just really takes my mind off of things. And sometimes you can be stuck in this taking your mind off things for hours on end, and you don't even really notice it. And then when you're done, you're kind of like, wow, like time passed so quick, and I kind of felt good about it because I just distracted myself for that long. And I feel like recently, and like I said, I've more so noticed it on Thursdays. Um, when I come home, that first day is a lot of struggling to keep that distraction up, if that makes sense. Like struggling to, I don't know how to exactly word it, but like struggling to keep that same distraction. Like I will hop on to play video games, it'll distract me for a little bit, and then it's like I need something else. And it's like it's almost like not necessarily my mind is taken over to the point of like, oh my god, I need to get something else to distract me right now, but it's almost like I don't want to do this right now. I want to do something else that can distract me. And part of me has thought, maybe that is my mind trying to tell me that I need new distractions, or is it my mind trying to tell me that um, I don't know exactly, but like it's been a bit of a weird feeling recently. Just like I said, just especially on Thursdays, coming home and I want to play video games, and then 20 minutes will go by, and I'm like, this really isn't working right now. I need to do something else. And then like times recently, I've been trying to go and hang out with my brother, and that won't work after like half an hour. And it has nothing to do with him. It's more of like I don't know. It's like something is missing in the distraction area, and I've been using driving, going for quick drives, and trying to listen to music, and certain YouTube channels or like certain music even recently has been like I'm listening to it and I'm like, man, I don't want to listen to this right now. This is not working whatsoever, or it's making me think of something that I don't want to think of in that moment, or it'll make like a little section of my brain even worse, and I'm like, I I, I got to do something else quick, and so it's been a bit of a struggle to kind of like get through some of my days, and like especially at night. Like before I went on this drive, I was trying to play some video games, and I was just sitting there and I was like, man, like I'm enjoying this, but at the same time, like I'm kind of antsy in a way of I kind of want to get out of the house, or I kind of want to I want to do something else right now because my mind is like swirling and spiraling, and then the thoughts of paranoia come in. And some of that has to do with um, I'm going to kind of start from the start because, like I said, this is something that I really hope that there's somebody out there that can kind of relate to it, or some of you guys that might be watching might not make me feel crazy when I say this stuff. I can never explain this to anybody. I've tried to talk to my girlfriend about it, but even then, it's hard for me to even get the right words out. I feel like I can never talk to my parents or my brother about it because like I said, I genuinely feel insane when I speak about it because I'm like, this is what's going on in my head. I even tried to talk to my therapist about it a few years ago. This was when I wasn't fully aware of what it all was and wasn't really fully aware of how it was really in my head. And it was just kind of like a quick in passing type of talk. It wasn't really anything too crazy. But yeah, so essentially, you guys know how when kids mention, oh, there's a monster in my room, or there's a monster under my bed, or there's, something in my room. That is a very common thing that I'm sure every kid has dealt with, or at least to the point of like, oh, something's in my room. When I was a kid, this was a little bit different for me, and I'm sure my parents probably looked at it the same way as any parents would, and they were like, yeah, Riley just sees, he just sees things. He sees monsters as if other kids see monsters. This wasn't a monster, though. When I was a kid, I believe I was in grade primary, so kindergarten for anybody else in other places of the world that you guys, primary, kindergarten, same thing. And if you guys aren't familiar, there is this iconic figure in Canada. His name is Terry Fox, and he had cancer back in, I think this was like the 80s, early 80s, late 70s maybe. It's kind of bad that I don't know the exact year or date. He had cancer and he had to get his leg amputated. And he wanted to raise money for cancer awareness, so he wanted to do an entire walk all the way around Canada to raise money. So it was like the Run of Hope, or like his thing was like to raise cancer awareness and money for cancer research. And unfortunately, he did not get all the way around before his cancer reappeared, and he unfortunately passed. So when you were in primary or like elementary school, one of the biggest things that the schools would do on like every like early September, so like right at the start of the school year, they had which was what was called the Terry Fox Run, or like the Terry Fox Day, where you would go outside with your entire school and just like do a couple walks around the school. You could bring in money to like donate to cancer research type of thing. And in the assembly, when you would go back inside, they would show this like film or like movie about Terry Fox. When I was 5 years old, um, I remember seeing that movie for the first time and developing such a huge fear of him, because I believe now that I look back on it, that was the first time I had ever seen somebody without a leg. And it was a fake leg. He had a prosthetic leg. And like I said, I know this is going to sound crazy. This is going to make me sound crazy, but I was so scared as a kid. I didn't even understand all the other stuff, like the cancer stuff, how it happened, even like his run of hope, all this stuff. I didn't even understand all of that stuff at that age. Um, but all I could see was him without his leg. And I can I can hardly remember all the details to this because I was so young. Um, I find it very hard to remember a lot of memories from like age 10 and lower. There's a lot of memories that are very, I don't remember them at all. This was one of those ones though, like I can remember for the longest time always having to sleep with my closet light on in my room for years. Like this lasted, I bet you I was like probably still like 11 or 12. I maybe there may have been even times later than that. Because there'd be times where I would be abed in my or in asleep in my bed, and I would wake up. I can remember waking up in panic because I had felt that he and I had seen him in my closet. And I, like I said, I know this is going to sound crazy. This makes me sound insane, but I would see him in my closet. And it, as a kid, it was such a scary thing. And I remember um, getting so scared and so paranoid as a kid about that. Fast forward a little bit, I remember this. I forget what year it was, but it was whatever year the Lorax movie had came out. Keep in mind, all this other stuff is still kind of going on. Like, I, I was always constantly watching my back and like, um, down my hallway and stuff in our room, like in our house. I had a feeling that like Terry Fox was behind me, and like I said, I know that sounds nuts, but like that there was a figure behind me. He did not have a leg, and it was this scary thing, and I would genuinely like have so much anxiety inside me, and there was times where I literally would see his figure in front of me. And I'm parked here in a bit of a sketchy area, so if you guys see me like looking outside and stuff, um, I'm hoping that me talking about this does not like make me um, see anything, because there's like trees and like little like mailboxes and stuff, and I really don't want to psych my brain out to the point that it thinks it's something that it's not. I think that's what a lot of it is just your brain showing you that it's something that it isn't. And like I said, fast forward a few years to the time that the Lorax movie had came out. I remember, I think that was like 2011, which is nuts to think that it was that long ago. I think it was 2011. I remember me, my brother, and my grandmother were going to go and see it the following day. The night before that, I remember when me and my brother were younger, we used to spend a lot of time together and, play video games together, yada, 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 whatever. There was a night I can remember, we were in his bedroom. We were playing video games. He had fell asleep. I was like still up kind of playing video games, or I don't know if I was on the computer or whatever I was doing. Anyways, I can remember, and like I said, the reason I remember this type of stuff is because it was so prevalent in the time, and it genuinely like scared me so much. I can remember looking outside, or like hearing something in the corner, like out of my like I could hear something to my right, and that was where his window was. And I remember hearing like like a cry for help, like a scream for help. And at first I can remember thinking, like, because we live near a baseball field, and I remember thinking, oh, there's probably like kids up there or whatever. This was in like March, I believe. So like the ball field and everything, that wasn't even open. There was nobody that would have been up there or anything. I can remember looking out and like seeing somebody running down the road, um, and like turning up into like the other road that's near my main road. And like I said, I hate talking about this stuff sometimes because it just makes me sound insane, and me speaking it out, I feel like creates my brain, and it like makes my brain hear myself say it, and I get scared that it'll either heighten it or um, bring it back, or know that it's getting to me, and my brain will be like, oh, we got him now, type of thing, you know what I mean? Or like, oh, that affected him so much at that age, I wonder if there's something else we can do to affect him, type of thing, you know what I mean? That I get scared about that. But I remember seeing that figure running down the road, or like it wasn't even running, it was kind of like gliding, almost like kind of like a ghost, but not really. And I remember it turning into that road, and its head like turned back like almost all the way and looked right at me. And like I said, I was 11 years old, and that there was no one out there. And I'm happy that I can know that there was no one out there, but I genuinely thought there was. And the paranoia from those experiences when I was younger, um, more so were just stuff that I I don't know how to exactly word it. More so stuff of like, it took me a little bit to kind of like convince myself that it didn't really happen. And now looking back on it, I'm like, that didn't happen the way that I remember it, or like something like that, kind of, you know what I mean? Um, I hate that this is happening while I'm doing this, but I gotta lock my doors because I don't know. Um, it's kind of raining right now too, and my windshield has a lot of rain on it, and it's kind of like there's like a glare from a light, and um, I don't know. I just don't want to like start like, I don't know. I don't want to start like just like I said, envisioning things that like heighten what I'm feeling or anything, you know. Although any of this is going on, and any of what's going on in my head and what I'm trying to tell you guys um, had happened, I want to be able to force myself to talk about this because I know it's better to talk about it, and maybe try to reach out and see if someone can relate or someone understands. Because, like I said, this is something that I've never felt like I could ever talk to anybody about ever. One, because I was always scared that, like I said, if I talked about it, my brain would hear me and hear me speak it and try to make things worse or know what got me, type of thing. Or two, people would look at me like I'm insane, and not many people would be able to understand it. This way, if I'm just talking to a camera, if there's people in the comments that do understand it, I would hope that they comment, and then that way I don't see their face and they're commenting what they experience. And if there's people that don't know what I'm talking about, they hopefully just scroll by or swipe off the video or whatever. That way it doesn't mess with my head more. Um, so fast forward a few years, I would say, um, and I can remember being probably like the age of like 17, 18. And when I first was kind of going to therapy the first few years, I never really knew how to like explain like anything, and I still am terrible at explaining myself. I think I'm a little bit better than what I used to be, in certain things. I got my microphone like above me now, and I hope it picks up well. I was trying to find a way that it doesn't pick up the sound of the vehicle because I need to have it kind of like turned on for the light to be on, but um, hopefully it doesn't pick up too much background noise or anything. Anyways, like I said, if I ever had therapy or if I was trying to talk to a friend or anything, I always found it extremely difficult to word things the right way. And I can remember trying to tell my original few therapists about um, certain things, and the way that I tried to explain it was I would say that my eyes are never convinced of what my body feels, and my body and like everything inside me is never convinced about what my eyes see. And I think some of that has to do with like the paranoia stuff, but also I would tell them how I could see, like, I would see like a glass, like, say there was like a glass of water or a bottle of water, and what I would see is water in that bottle, but it didn't convince my mind or like what's inside me that there is water in that bottle. So I would pick up the bottle of water, and I might have to feel it, or I might have to drink it, or something like that. And that would happen for a lot of things, and it that happens, I guarantee, like every single day. And I'm sure you guys, like, I'm sure that's a normal thing, and I don't know exactly what it's called, but there's times where it gets to the point of like more frustration, because sometimes that takes longer of like my eyes convincing my mind, or like my eyes convincing the rest of me that what I am seeing is, it's here. Like, there's so many times, and I know people can probably relate to this with like their phone, whether they might have their phone in their hand, and then like 10 minutes later, they're like, oh, where's my phone, and it's in your hand, type of thing. There's times where like I'll bring, like, say my car keys, for example. This could be, I could use any example, but say my car keys, for example, I try to take them inside every single time that I leave my vehicle. Um, and there is so many times where I will take my car keys out, and I will try to tell myself, okay, I am taking my car keys out of my car right now. I am taking my car keys out of my car right now. I am taking my car keys out of my car, and I will put them in my pocket, and I will, like, in my head, kind of repeat. And like I said, I will see my car keys being put into my pocket, and in my head I'm repeating to myself, like, okay, I'm putting these in my pocket right now. I'm putting these in my pocket right now. I'm putting these in my pocket right now. And I will go to leave the car, and I'm like, I have my hand in my pocket, and I'm like holding on to my car keys, because I'm like, okay, they're in my pocket. They're in my pocket. And then like I'll leave my car, and I'll shut my door, and I'll panic, because I'm like, did anything of what I just did even really happen? And there's been times where it doesn't. And it's not necessarily with my car key, but like there's times where other things, like, I don't know, for example, but say there is like a car, like my car key, for example, continuing with that example. um, there might be times where, hypothetically, I try to do that, and I think, like, okay, I have my car keys in my pocket. I just took them out. I just put them in my pocket. I leave my car, and they're not in my pocket, and they're back in the ignition. Like, everything that I just went through in my head didn't even happen. And the vision of me taking my car key out of my ignition and putting it in my pocket didn't even happen. And I pictured it, or I imagined it. And when that happens, it really scares me, because I'm like, okay, what else had happened today that or like what else did I think happened that didn't happen, or like what else do I happened and I didn't know happened, or like what else happened that I won't remember happened, type of thing. And um like I said, that's like a daily occurrence with at least one thing. And there's times where I will even like panic when I'm around my girlfriend, like with the car key thing, for example, or like so many other things, putting things in the fridge, or um, I don't know, leaving my room, or certain things. And I'm like, okay, what is what I'm seeing right now? Is my room looking the way it is? And it's gotten to the point where like there's times where it even heightens to the point of um, I I will be standing in a gas station, for example, and I will be standing in line, and I will almost like kind of like psych myself out in a way of, okay, what if a car just drives through the store right now? Um, maybe that car just drove into the store that I'm in right now. Am I noticing that there's a car that drove into the store right now? There's not. Um, but there's, in the moment, it's like a scary type of thing, because I'm like, um, you know, okay, there's a chance there could be a car that drives through this store. Even if it doesn't harm me, it's like a paranoid type of thing. Or um, when I'm driving my car, um, there's times where I will be parked at the stoplight, and there's times where it'll switch from red to green, or like say if I'm sitting at a stoplight, like a red light, and it turns to green, I panic because everything around me, I have to like 20 time check around me to see if other things are moving, because I'm like, am I seeing that light right? Did that turn green? And I'm checking like the cars to my right, and I'm checking the cars to my left, and I'm checking the cars in front of me. And then there's times where I'm like, are they moving? Like, are they moving like I'm thinking they're moving? Am I moving when I don't think I'm moving? Um, that type of stuff. And that doesn't happen every single red light, thank God. But there's a lot of times where if I'm at a red light, and it turns green, I take a few seconds, because I might not do like the 20 time um, convincing my mind, but I will get paranoid that, okay, is that light really green? Am I seeing this right? Type of thing. And there's times when I'm driving and there might be a vehicle in front of me, and I go to slow down, and I really psych myself out. And there's times where I know there's times where there's vehicles like in front of me, in my head, like not right in front of me, but like maybe a distance in front of me. And I don't know if it's like me zoning out to the point, or just being really paranoid, because like I will see that vehicle to the point like in front of me where, like I said, it's not right in front of me, but it's visible, like it's maybe 5-6 car lengths in front of me. And then all of a sudden it's not there, and I'm like, was it there the whole time? Like, because there's times where, and I've always done this, and I especially recently, if there's vehicles in front of me, I really try to keep my distance, because that is one of the biggest things, is I'm scared that um, maybe I'm not envisioning that the vehicle is as close to me as I think it is, type of thing, or the other way around. And there's times where I, like I said, I will see a vehicle a little ways ahead of me, and then it'll go away, and that really scares me in the moment because I'm like, did I see that? Did it turn off somewhere that I didn't even notice? But then that's why I think, like, it was right in front of me. It wasn't like it was way ahead of me that I would have not seen it go. You know what I mean? Type of thing. I don't know. The car examples are a very common thing. And it's kind of surprising that I enjoy driving as much as I do, because um and knock on wood, I've never been in a accident of any sort, and I think a lot of it is just being super cautious and super paranoid about certain things. This vehicle that I have right now, it has cruise control, and I am so happy that it does, because when I'm on the highway, I will use cruise control and set it to like the speed limit or like slightly above the speed limit, because there's times where and that'll kind of like convince me to, okay, I'm going the speed limit. But there is times where I'm like, did I hit the cruise control? And I'll like check, or like I'll hit it a few times and like restart it, because I'm like, okay, now it'll like reconvince my mind, like, okay, I did just reset it, it's on, I see the green little confirmation thing, and then I might drive a little bit and I'll think of something like, did I turn cruise control on? Am I going really quick right now? Am I going faster than what I'm thinking I'm going? And then I have to turn cruise control off for a second and then turn it back on to reconvince myself, type of thing, because I get so paranoid that I may not be going what I'm going. And you might think, okay, the cruise control is messing with them even more. I think it helps, because no matter what, and deep down inside, the cruise control is on. But I just need to continuously reassure myself about it. And I don't know. Fast forward a little bit to kind of like modern day. I don't want to sit here and talk too much about this, just because I don't know. I could probably go more into depth about other paranoia stuff. But like I said, I already feel like I sound crazy and whatnot. But more recently, so in the summertime here, it gets so warm. We do not have air conditioner in my house, and there's nights where I will sleep with my door open, or I will have something at the bottom of my door that I try to. Part of it is because we have a cat, and I don't like the cat in my room, but also part of it is I think, okay, if there's something at the bottom of the doorway that maybe can trick my mind into thinking the door is closed, I won't get scared. My gaming setup and my chair is like, so like the doors, okay, so like the door is here, my gaming chair and setup is like right here, and my back is always to the door and the doorway. And there is a lot of times where I will be really sketched out that there's someone like behind me, like in my doorway, or like not a family member, but like a figure of something. To the point that when I'm Snapchatting people, or if I'm talking to my girlfriend, like Snapchatting my girlfriend, I will always make sure that I put the camera kind of like here to kind of like look down the hallway a little bit, to like notice, to see like, okay, is there someone? And then I think, oh, maybe the camera won't pick it up, so then I do have to look back, and then I think maybe my eyes aren't seeing what I'm thinking I'm supposed to see. So then I have like my headset, I have it off, or at least I have one ear just in case I hear something. And all while doing this, it is pretty much ruining a lot of like my gaming session or whatever I'm doing at my desk, because I'm just constantly paranoid about whatever it is behind me. Um, and Another thing with the hallway thing, um, at the very end of our hallway, like towards our kitchen, there my mother has like a plant, and there's like two little leaves that like poke out like into the area of the hallway. So like if I'm looking from my bedroom down the hallway, I can see those two little leaves. And there is some nights where if I'm gaming or if I'm um, maybe just in my room and I for whatever reason am near my doorway, or if I'm going to the bathroom, which is in between the kitchen and my room, I I will psych myself out and scare myself thinking that those leaves are somebody, like either a pair of hands or like somebody's like lower, like their chin and their hand. And so I immediately have to turn the bathroom light on or the hallway light, or have my phone and my phone light on, that type of thing. Or there's times where for whatever reason I get this little brave feeling of going to step out there to convince my mind, even though knowing that uh, the scary feeling that I think it's somebody at the time. It's like that little window that I've talked about before, that little window of your mind thinking that I'm just going to go and convince myself that this isn't a person, or convince myself that there's someone there, or convince myself that it is leaves like it has been every other time. Um, but there's a lot of times where I'll go into the bathroom and I will genuinely like freak out. And then there's times where I'll go into the bathroom and I won't even have to use the bathroom, but I will sit on the toilet and wait until I can calm down a little bit, in my head, and convince myself that those are leaves. There's no one out in the living room, type of thing. Kind of backtracking a little bit, but like all the way in the start when I was a kid, I had this huge fear that we were going to get robbed. Like there was going to be intruders, there was going to be people um, outside my window. Like our front deck is like right outside my window. I always had this crazy fear that we were going to get robbed every single night, or we were going to get, people were going to break into the house, or people were out on our deck looking in my window with a gun or a weapon of some sort. Um, and I think that is always that fear has always been there. And I will honestly say these last few years, I think that has came back a little bit more. And like there was a night, I would say a month ago, where it was really bad. Um, where uh, I like I think it was like a month ago, a month and a half ago maybe, where I was laying in bed and my bed is like right under my windowsill, so my window is kind of like up above me to the left, and I'm like laying there in my bed, and all I'm thinking is there's somebody out on the deck right now. Like I just heard a footprint, like I just heard somebody step. And then there, like I had to mute my TV and everything, because there's times where I have my TV loud enough that if if there is somebody out on the deck, I won't hear them. And I know that's not good, because if there is really people out there, you would hopefully want to hear them and get them or something, call the cops or whatever. But just to like settle my mind, I try to turn my TV up a little bit or something. Um, and there, like I said, there was a day a month ago or so where I really thought there was somebody out there, and I had my blinds like my window blinds kind of pulled together, but there was like just this little like sliver of area where I kept thinking that there's somebody right there. There's like a face there that's looking in with a weapon, and all while my door was open and the whole leaf thing was going on, and I was just losing so much sleep. This was actually a day before I had a doctor's appointment. I was supposed to go at like 8:30 or like 8 in the morning, or like I had to leave before 8 or something, and I didn't get to sleep till like 6:30 because I was like really sketching out and like paranoid and just really trying to calm my mind down, because like, and I know you guys can relate to this, that there's constantly an argument going on with your conscious, or like your inner being, or like the little person of you that's inside you, with your head. It's constantly arguing, and in a moment like that, you're constantly telling yourself, there's nobody on the deck, there's nobody out there, there's nobody in the hallway, those are leaves, there's nobody with a weapon, there's no weapons out here, like you didn't hear a footstep. And it takes a long time to really calm yourself down. There is a flag that's like waving, and it keeps catching my eye every time, and it's scaring me because I'm talking about this stuff, and I know that my mind is listening and it's hearing my voice right now. But uh but yeah, paranoia is something that I deal with a lot, and it's something I've never really talked about, and I'm really happy I can come on here and talk about it. And if you guys have made it this far in the video, I want you guys to comment down below. Feel free to share your own experiences about paranoia or just mental health in general, because that is something that I deal with a lot, is the paranoia part of mental health. And I know it deteriorates my everyday um, stuff, because I, I, I try my best to avoid it and set up certain areas of the day where I I know it won't happen, type of thing. And I think that just comes with growing as a person, and like just going more through life and realizing like the little things of uh of okay, like I won't do this because I know that'll spark that, or like I won't do this, or I won't do this way because or I think you guys would know what I'm saying. And I really hope these videos, when certain people are watching these videos, um, I would hope that you guys click on these videos because you relate, and or just want to hear somebody else's experiences or perspective on stuff, or if you guys deal with certain things like that too. I also opened up the community thing here on YouTube. I've never even experimented with that before, but I guess it's similar to comments in a way. So if you guys want to share any type of thing over on our community wall, feel free. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna get back home, or at least continue a drive a little bit. Um, but I really appreciate anybody for tuning into this stuff, because I want to be able to talk about things, and I want to be able to tackle my mind in a way of tackle my mind in a way of trying to show it that I'm not scared of it, in a way. And I don't know if that'll ever happen. I don't know if that'll ever work. But trying something different and trying to, like I said, just tackle it head on, and face to face. So um, I appreciate you guys. I know this is a late. I don't know. I guess I'll end up be posting this tomorrow probably, but I know it's a later recording again. But yeah, take care. This will probably be up on a Friday, so have a good weekend, guys, and we'll see you guys in the next one.